Peer and self-assessment are methods of assessment which we use in the level 3 awarded education training, but we need to understand the purpose and limitations. Otherwise, these assessment methods won't be useful to any training program. So self-assessment involves a learner assessing their own progress, which can lead them to setting their own goals. So in the level 3 awarded education training, this assessment method is used after your micro-teach session to reflect on why you planned your session the way you did, what went well and what could be better, and also what you can do to improve your own performance. So peer assessment, on the other hand, is the others in your class reflecting on your performance and giving their feedback. This is also used in level 3 awarded education training, as your peers are required to give you feedback to help the awarding body ascertain information about your session, and who better to give you feedback than those that are actually actively involved in the session. Self-assessment is a great method as it helps learners to develop their own progress and goals, which is a CPD requirement of all trainers delivering the level 3 awarded education training, as we need to maintain our own professional development, and we are all responsible for this. Self-assessment gives ownership of their own progress, which can be motivating, but it depends on the individual, where some will do this, but others need accountability from elsewhere to help them to keep on track. I tend to find that during the level 3 awarded education training, most learners tend to be overcritical of their sessions, but they tend to forget that this is typically just 15 minutes. Therefore, it's only a snippet of a full session, and you cannot get into larger topics or use overly complicated assessment methods, as the time simply doesn't allow for it. There is a minority of learners who feel that they've achieved more than they actually have. Therefore, the tutor still needs to confirm this. I've seen many times where learners have identified weaknesses in the delivery, but feel they don't have anything to work on. Typical self-assessment activities can include awarding themselves a grade, suggesting improvements regarding their skills and knowledge, or detailing how they can improve their work. So peer assessment involves a learner assessing another learner's progress. This would actively involve your learners. However, you need to ensure that everyone is aware of the criteria to be assessed, how to reach the decision, and how to give constructive feedback. So during the level 3 awarded education training, very few learners give negative feedback of a micro-teach session, as they don't want to hurt the feelings of another person, or they don't want the feedback to damage any relationship they have. So they tick all the boxes and say it's good, when peer assessments like this is actually not worth the piece of paper it's actually written on. So we need to explain the criteria that's assessed to ensure that this exercise is worthwhile. Learners may accept comments from peers more readily than those from their tutor, and peers might notice something the assessor hasn't. This is useful as the session is tailored to the peers and not the tutors, so they're actually qualified to give feedback, as you should have with any sort of lesson. Peer assessment can be useful to develop and motivate learners. However, this should be managed carefully, as you may have some learners who do not get along and might use the opportunity to demoralize one another.